Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to One Mic Night. Today, my guest is someone who's been here before. You've seen her in season 5, episode 2. Is Dr. Carla Hooker. She is an incredible motivational speaker. She's a CEO. She's a movement mentor, and she is an author. She's here with her new book, 10 Lessons That You Should Know in Life. Man, the talk is incredible. So get ready for One Mic Night. We're back in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Scrolling. Oh my God. You guys, here we go again. The groons are still here. You still got time to get this flavor. Can you see it right there? This is the fireworks flavor. Firecracker. Psh. Look at that. Popsicle. Remember those bomb pops you used to have? But the thing is these are gummies, superfood greens, but in the firecracker flavor. 60 ingredients, vitamins, minerals, good for your probiotics, gut health, antioxidants, adaptogens, super mushrooms in here. No calories, 1 carb. Look at this. You better get yours now because this limited flavor is almost gone. Celebrating the 250 years of America. How about that? Get your groons, guys. Discount down below. Huge discount. Use the link. I've been telling you guys. Telling you. Get yours now. Groons, the superfoods. Hi, everyone, and welcome to One Mic Night, the podcast that brings you stories of artists and people on their journey, helping to guide, answer questions, and motivate you in life and the business. You know who I am. It's Marcos Luis, and I'm back. We are in season 7 of One Mic Night, and I want to thank you guys all for joining me and being on this beautiful journey, bringing you some of the most incredible people across this globe. Please make sure you like, share, and comment down below. Please leave a comment that helps people find the podcast and the algorithm. And I'd like to know what you think about what the episodes are. So thank you for being with me. Today, I am extremely excited. My guest has been here before. You saw her on season 5, episode 2, but she's got some incredible news to talk to you about. She's a CEO. She's a motivational speaker. She's a movement mentor. She is an author. Please welcome back Dr. Carla Hooker. Welcome back.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Listen, one of my favorite guests. How could I not have you back? I got so many inboxes on you anyway to have you back on the show. So thank you for coming back.
Wonderful. I am excited to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Of course. Listen, of course I have questions, but the big question today is, who is Carla Hooker today?
Who is Carla Hooker today?
Yeah.
Carla Hooker, all those beautiful words that you described, that's me. But inside, I am still the oldest 4-year-old you will ever see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take life too seriously because today could be my last day, and why not enjoy it? And I've survived way too much to just be walking around like I'm sucking on a lemon all day, every day. I'm a big kid inside. And I feel like everybody should just lighten up sometimes and have fun.
And why is that? What's behind all that?
What's behind all that?
Yeah.
I am, first of all, a sickle cell warrior and thalassemia thriver. two rare blood disorders with a lot of the same symptoms. Some people try to group it all as one or the other, but they're two separate diseases or disease processes, however you want to put it. Some people get offended when I say disease, but that's what it is. They're rare blood disorders, and it's genetic.
Mhm.
Sickle cell, you can have sickle cell without having thalassemia, and you can have thalassemia without having sickle cell. And it's a daily, I don't like to say struggle, I say a daily challenge living with this, because being honest, you never know if it's going to be your last day. And that's really with anyone, but especially living with all the symptoms and the chronic pain and all the symptoms that it causes and the organ damage that it causes daily. A lot of people don't know. They look at me and they're like, there's nothing wrong with her. Well, no, because I know who my father is. But internally, my organs and my body is 20 years older than my chronological age of 57. So I'm inside, the organs are, according to the doctors, like a 77-year-old.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of people don't realize that. That's why when they say, well, you know, there's a cure, you can get a bone marrow transplant, you can get a stem cell transplant, and you can be cured. Some people can be cured. Everyone does not qualify. And also, people my age are considered senior citizens. So they're not, if you're over 35, they're not going to even bother putting you on the list and making
Be-
that an option. So
because the
my
amount of stress on your body and so
right
forth, right?
amount of
Yeah.
stress, and then for a lot of it, they have to bottom out your immune system and give you chemo treatments. So
Mm.
that's another whole thing on top of sickle cell or thalassemia. So there's not a universal cure. So I still advocate for all warriors worldwide, including myself, until there's a universal cure, because this both diseases, especially sickle cell, has been traced all the way back to King Tut, and that's another whole story that could take us on another hole down another rabbit hole. But
This is new to me,
that,
but yeah,
right,
wow.
yeah, that he they said he had a club foot,
Hmm.
and he died at an early age, and they lots of people, when I say they, researchers have traced it back to him being a sickle cell warrior as well. And there are other
Wow.
people, Miles Davis, one of the Temptations, I can't, I never can think of his name, so I don't want to call the wrong one, but one of the Temptations who had an alcohol addiction, some of that he was masking the pain that he was in on stage, trying to perform and be a man having sickle cell disease.
This is incredible because you're talking about some non-ordinary people or some exceptional people that we know about. When was the first time you realized that you weren't ordinary or
Probably
non-ordinary?
Probably about 3 or 4. That's why I
Yeah.
say I'm still that 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And that's why my book that's out is entitled I Ain't Never Been Ordinary, Nor Have You. The official press release was yesterday, although they've done pre-sales, many pre-sales, and Les Brown has already done my video testimonial that's on my Facebook page. And I talk about him, and people are like, you talk about him like you're just talking about one of your friends. But he has become my spiritual father, my biological father, the past 2 years ago. And Les Brown has been right there beside me. And I'm not exaggerating. People look at me like, yeah, right. But no, seriously. I recently had a surgery last month, again, from complications from blood clots due to sickle cell and thalassemia in my port line, which is a central line that is used for me to give me IV pain treatments and medication, IV fluids. So it had been in almost 20 years, which is a blessing because many people's don't last that long. So
Wow.
I've been fortunate, so I wasn't complaining about that. But Duke took a look at it and they removed it and put a new one in, and they put a power port in. I just had the old school kind. It still worked, but it couldn't be used really for transfusions and to get fluids in me a lot faster and pain medication. They could still use it, but it was old school, like old school cars with the stick shift versus the automatic. Yeah.
Right. That's incredible. Give me some idea of what it's like, in a say a month time span for you dealing with what you're dealing with.
Well, every day there's a certain amount of pain.
Hmm.
So I can choose to just give up and lie in bed all day and just go, oh, I'm hurting too bad. Or I can bounce up and say, okay, I got to get with it. I've got stuff to do. And right now, my plate is stacked and pretty full. I'm I'm a politician. I never thought I would be saying that. I'm
Wow.
an elected official here in this little town of Sanford, North Carolina, which is growing rapidly. But I'm on the Board of Education. Never thought that was going to happen because I told you I'm a big kid. Then I've been doing this research project with Pfizer for the past 3 years because my goal is to make an impact here, but globally with mobile sickle cell units so that more people can get help. And people go, oh, what's she doing that for? We don't need that. We do need that. They've had them before in other parts of North Carolina and they got discontinued for whatever reason. But I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about right now what's needed.
Hmm.
And people need these because a lot of people, including myself, don't like going to the emergency room because there's a lot of post traumatic stress that happens as a result of what we've been through. And we're not believed a lot of times, including me. And I'm now the newly elected chair of the Community Advisory Board at Duke University Hospital. And I wasn't believed when I went through the emergency room the last time for pain.
Oh, wow.
And that was recently. Yeah, I was dressed down. I wasn't dressed in my blazer
Hmm.
and slacks like I am today. And I wasn't believed.
Well, we can go into a
Yeah.
whole history of Black women in hospitals and not being
Right.
believed about medical treatment and so forth. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's not surprising to me at all.
Right. Now it's been addressed, but the fact is that it's still happening and it's 2026.
Right.
And like I said, this disease has been around since the pyramids.
Right.
So
And that's what I
there's
like
something
about, you know
wrong.
what, this is what I like about you is because you're taking issue and instead of, letting it linger and people dwelling on it, you're trying to move forward, make progress on, helping to let people live better with it or find a vaccination or a solution to the problem. You're taking it and moving it forward
Oh,
and
absolutely.
amplifying the voice as
Yes,
well.
I tell
Yeah.
everywhere I go, every talk, whether I'm talking about my books, whether I'm talking about dance, whatever, I use my platform to make people aware of it because a lot of people have never heard of sickle cell. A lot of people have never heard of thalassemia. A lot of people have never heard of both. So
It's funny
now,
because in the 80s, I'm a
right,
man of a certain age, you would hear more about sickle cell than you hear today.
right. Now it's just
A
kind of
lot,
swept under. It's there, but
right.
people or people have no idea at all. They either know or they have no clue that it even exists.
Hmm. Tell us a little bit about your book and
My,
the name and where it came from.
I've got 4 books out
Yes,
now,
you
but
do.
the one that we're talking about is, and I'll hold it up close. I ain't never been ordinary, nor have you. And it's 10 extraordinary lessons for an power. What is it? 10 lessons for an extraordinary adulthood. I'm mixing up my words. And that picture right there, Marcos, is me at about 4 years old.
Little Dr. Carla, who knew?
Little Dr. Carla.
What do you think when you see that picture right now?
Oh, that shows my whole personality. My daughter looked at that picture and she was like, mommy, I don't really think you should put that on your book cover. And I was like, why not? That's one of my favorite pictures, and that was my favorite dress back then. She said, you look bad. I said, I look bad. She said, not bad like it's a bad picture. You look like you were getting ready to get into something. And I said, I probably was, because that's who I was and that's who I am now. I'm always getting ready to get into something.
Looking back on that picture, what do you think about yourself now in relation to that little girl who was in that picture, looking like she was up to something in that
Oh,
little
she was
dress?
ready.
She
Yeah,
was ready?
she was ready. She had on her Buster Brown shoes and her white tights. She was ready, whether it was for dance or taking on the world, taking out her iron. I had the mower, the plastic mower. I had one of those and was always getting my dad's tools, his toolbox, and he would say, hand me a flathead. Make sure you know which one is a flathead. Oh, you go, girl. Because he was trying to make me his little boy. My brother came along 4 years later, one of my brothers. And make sure you hand me that Allen wrench. you know.
Right.
So that was stuff like that was important to him. And I was always doing something. I was clearing the table off. I used to try to do it when my parents would take me out or we'd be on vacation. I would be trying to clear off the table at the restaurant, and they were like, "No, no, 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 no. You don't do that here. Why not? I do it at home." And they're like, "Yeah, but you're at home." And I never got that concept. Now I get it now, but I didn't then.
That's
That was the
funny.
busybody I was, and I was like that in kindergarten because both of my parents were leaders. My mom was an educator. My dad was a DC police officer, and he was a desk sergeant for a while at 7th District over in Anacostia. They both worked in Anacostia. My mom worked at Savoy Elementary, and she was one of the lead teachers. So I saw them in charge. So when I went to school, I went to big school. I was going to be in charge, and I could already read. I could already write my name. I was very smart. So my mom would send me with extra books and extra work. But I would finish that work. I would finish the work that the teacher gave me, and then I wanted to talk to my friends and help them get finished because I had nobody to talk to. Marcos, what you doing over there? What number are you on? You want me to come help? And you didn't have to say yes. You could have said no, and I'm going to get up out of my seat and help. So that was who, and that's who I am still today, helping
Yeah,
people.
I like that. That was harnessed. How did you harness that energy into becoming a motivational speaker and someone who is helping to elevate and, like I said before, amplify, your purpose?
That's a good question. I started watching. My mom was diagnosed 5 years ago, and she passed last year. She was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, and when she first got diagnosed, I thought my world was just crashing down because that was one of my best friends. And then my dad got sick, and I was running between the two of them, and I was like, if I don't do something, I'm with my mind, I'm going to lose what I have up here and crack up, and that's not an option. I've got too much to do, but at the same time, I wasn't going to just push my parents to the side and talk them into going into some nursing home because I knew I was able to help care for them. I'd
Mhm.
had medical training, I had been a paramedic, and I cared for others. So I was definitely not going to just kick my parents to the curb. But at the same time, I needed to take care of me too, so I could be there for them. And I started listening to Real Success. I had been asked to speak places for years with my kids at different churches. When I say my kids, I only have one daughter, one child, but my dancers. Or I would be asked to speak for a Black History program, or someone would ask to speak me to speak at an event for women or whatever. But I never thought to do it on a different level until I
Yeah.
started watching Real Success and I met Saj from Real Success, who also wrote the other forward for this book, I Ain't Never Been Ordinary. And he's a global speaker.
Yeah, let's
And
get on the I want to get on the caliber of who is with you on this journey because
oh, sure.
powerful people and you yourself are powerful and inspirational. So we're talking about Les Brown, for those of you who don't know, who is a global icon, former representative from Ohio, so he dabbled in politics as well. But just he coined the phrase, I think, you've got to be hungry.
Now you got
That
to
was his
say it right.
phrase.
You got
Go,
to
go
be
ahead. You say it.
hungry. You got to
Yeah,
be
you're hungry.
hungry. Yeah.
I gave you the watered down version, but yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
that's too watered down for Mr.
Right.
Les. There's
But
greatness in you, Marcos.
right, So, these are the people that you're working with, and you yourself are along on this journey with them. And you are inspiring so many people with what you do. What Tell us about your book, a little bit more about your book, because you have 10 points, 10 childhood lessons, I think it is. Can you give us just one? I don't want to give everybody everything, but
Want me
just
to give the
one
book
little,
away?
give them a little sample.
All right, let me give you a little
Give a
sample.
little sample.
I'll skip to chapter 4. And there's a picture. I have pictures in my book because I told you I'm a 4-year-old. And they're black and white, but it takes you back.
Love
So
it. Love
there's
it.
my
Yes.
brother Wayne, my late brother Wayne, and I in our backyard in Oxon Hill, Maryland when it snowed. And my mother would make sure we were wrapped up because they had told her and my dad as at Children's Hospital, if they go outside in the cold, they can go into a crisis, which is true. But my mother went overboard, and she probably is up there listening, going, "I sure did." We had so many clothes on, Marcos. We looked like the kid from A Christmas Story,
Could barely
walking like
move.
this. And it took us forever to get dressed. That's in that chapter. But I also learned in that chapter that to always be prepared and not think that the underdog can't kick your butt.
Mm.
And my brother, we decided to have a snow fight. And he built this beautiful fort. And mine was looking like some mess. But he was younger than me. And his glasses were really, really thick. Mine were too, but he had to wear his a little bit more than I did since he was 18 months old. And he was making those snowballs. It looked like he had a machine. And I mean, to perfection. And I was like, I'm older than him. And I said, no, hit me in the eyes. I made the rules. Don't hit me in the eyes. And I can't knock your glasses off your face. We can't do whatever. No putting ice inside the snowballs. Long story short, my brother was like, whatever, I'm going to win. And my snowballs were just turning into powder in the dust. And he was kicking my butt. And then I was like, hey, time out. I went and got a trash can lid because I needed a shield because he was throwing those snowballs like a pro league baseball pitcher. And I was getting my butt kicked and I couldn't let my little brother kick my butt. So he finally grabbed one and it had some ice in it and hit me in the face with it. Then it was on and popping because I was going to get him back. And after I got him back, then I'm going in the house because he's not going to get me again because his aim was better. He used to have to go for eye exercises and all this because he had a lot of eye surgeries as a child to straighten out his eyes and the eye issues that were going on. So his aim was perfect sitting there playing video games all day from the time he was really little when the first games came out before Atari. But it's lessons like that taught me, even though that was a childhood lesson, you never underestimate somebody who's considered the underdog.
Mm.
Always be prepared.
That's true. That is
So
so
that's
true.
one lesson. And there's many more in that chapter, but that's one lesson in the book.
That is so true.
Let's say that book changed his life. So that's how confident I am that the lessons that are in there are going to help other people.
What do you want people to get from the book in general?
I want them to get that they can get through anything. Everybody has storms in life and challenges. There is no one, including Jesus Christ, who didn't have challenges. But it's all in perspective. How do you look at it? And people go, I know you've heard this before, and it's so cliche. Is the glass half full or is it half empty? But really, it's all in your mindset and how you think of things. All these journeys with all these people who are very well known worldwide didn't just happen. It wasn't happenstance. I don't believe in that. It wasn't coincidence either. The power of the tongue and your mind is very powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful instruments. And I kept saying, I want to work with Les Brown one day. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. And I said it so much, my mother was like, girl, if you say that one more time, geez, I heard you. Ooh, okay, whatever. And then I said, you know what? And I saw Forbes on Real Success. And I was like, I got to meet her. And then I spoke it so much that I did. And then when we met in this VIP room with Mr. Les, she said, I want to work with you. I said, I want to work with you too. She said, but do you ever want to change your last name? And I was like, no, why should I? And she said, well, why wouldn't you? Your last name's Hooker. And I said, because you'll never forget me. And she just fell out laughing. She was like, hey, you're right. And I'm working with her now.
True. Yeah.
3 years later, I've been to her home and she's become like my big sister. Never in my wildest dreams would I think that the lady that I used to watch on HSN and QVC on all those infomercials, that I would be in her home and hugging her like family.
Never. What was it about these people? What was it about Forbes Riley and Les Brown that inspired you so much?
Me?
Yeah.
They're real, number one. And they care about people. And I had no idea that the two of them were so close. I didn't know that when I was speaking all this. So I believe that God pours into you what you need to go on this journey. But when we allow the noise of other people to get in our ears and redirect us and misalign us, that's when we get off course. But I believe when you listen to what's already in you, no matter, because I don't expect you to be a 4-year-old too. You may be, or you may be an 8-year-old. I don't know, but be who you are. Don't be who somebody else wants you to be. be who you are and
How do
who.
people get to that point? Because like you said, a lot of people don't do it. They're not in tune to that. Or, you're shaped by society and what you think society wants you to be or do or present yourself as. How do people get in tune with themselves and how do people align themselves with that?
Sometimes you have to, well, Mr. Les says OQP. And at first, when he was saying that, I was like, well, but this person's still okay. It's only quality people.
Hmm.
5 people, and I've heard this from every person and those 1%ers that have mentored me, and it's true.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you have to cut off everybody in your family completely, but a lot of people, as my Aunt Shirley would say, you got to feed them with a long handled spoon because whoever you're around, you're going to become like those people. Whether they're doing it consciously or subconsciously, you're going to become what they are. And you got to be careful. I'm not
absolutely.
saying be scared of everyone. No, love everyone as Jesus did, but in your tight inner circle, they need to be people who are going somewhere and doing something with their life, not somebody sitting around just watching TV every day doing nothing. Is there anything wrong with that? No. If that person wants to be mediocre and live that type of lifestyle, or that's all they think they can do, then that's on them. But that's not who I know I'm called to be.
Absolutely. Which goes back to what I was saying in the very beginning, because I've seen you just in the last year and a half or 2 years that I've known you, I've seen you elevate because of who you are around. I see you with,
Right.
Mr. Brown. I see you with Ms. Riley, Ford Riley, and all these people. And I've seen you elevate your own game in a way that makes you shine and show your authentic self.
Right. I never thought I would be in the other book, The Change, and that Mr. Les wrote the forward for that book. And I
Hmm.
went to San Diego. The doctor said I couldn't fly that far for years. And I just said, you know what? I'm not going to get a checkup before I go. Now, I'm not recommending this, sickle cell warriors.
Hmm.
Do what you feel you need to do because I ain't never been ordinary, nor have you. This works for me. I flew anyway. And I said, and I got upset before I went because I've been told so many years as a child, all the way up to now, you have to fly with oxygen if you fly over a certain amount of hours. You need oxygen, you need this, you need that. And I'm like, there's oxygen on the plane. Duh.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not going to just let me sit up there and die
Right.
if I start going into a crisis. So I'm going to pray. I'm going to relax. I'm going to hydrate the night before, hydrate on the plane, ask for extra water. And I'm going to meditate and I'm just going to chill. When I started feeling my body cramping, I just went deep within and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make myself go to sleep because if I'm asleep, I'm probably not going to be hurting. And I
Yeah.
got all the way to San Diego. The first trip was to Arizona to meet Mr. Les. I got all the way there, no problems. I was just really tired. So I rested. I know now, and from that trip, to fly in a couple days early.
Yeah.
You, I either could
Yeah.
choose to live
Yeah.
and stay scared and stay stuck, or just get out here and do it.
That's it. That's the metaphor right there. You just said it. You can continue to live your life one way, being afraid and be scared and not try new things and not try to move forward in a different way and make a change in your life and the way you're living. Or you can
Right.
continue on the same pathway forever. Stay in the comfort zone,
Exactly.
stay in fear,
Be that hamster just
be it
going around in
going
that
around.
circle, doing nothing. That fish in that little tank.
That's right.
If you know you're a big fish, why are you a shark in a little bowl? Get
Mm,
out
yeah,
and move.
you're right. Try something new. Challenge yourself. What about
Right.
challenge? What are you trying to
Lead.
leave? What's your goal? What's your purpose? What do you want to
Yes.
leave as a legacy? What do you want to
Right.
leave as a legacy?
I want to leave as a legacy that sickle cell warriors and thalassemia thrivers can do anything, not just sickle cell warriors and thalassemia thrivers, because of course that's personal to me, but anybody. I look at the kids that I've taught dance to and the 3-year-olds that were in the 3-year-old class when I first started here in North Carolina, they graduated. They
Wow.
graduated. One just graduated with her master's, and she graduated from college a few years ago. Now she has her master's. Danielle Moy. And she's probably like, oh my God, Miss Carla, I can't believe you said my name out loud on the air. Yes, I did. And I can do that. I don't
That's
care what
right.
they say. I do what I
That's
want
right.
to do. And then I have some other little babies that were smaller than them. Gabby was 18 months and she just graduated from Lee Early College with a high school diploma and an associate's degree. So that just makes me beam. And then I've got little Cameron. She was the first kid I taught to dance on point, on her toes here in North Carolina. I've taught others in DC and other places, but she was the first here. And she has her own business now and she's coaching and she's married and her husband is a personal trainer. And she made a commercial with me in it yesterday. And I was like, oh, wow. I had to hold back the tears. I call it eye sweat. I had to hold that back. But it's things like that.
Yeah,
That is the legacy that I believe I'm leaving here.
I like that. And for those of you who are watching this episode or listening to this episode on the other platforms, make sure you go back and check out season 5, episode 2, because we talked about this whole thing. The organization is called Carla's Kids. It's carlaskidsdance.org. Please go check out that website and find out all the beautiful things that she does. She's pouring into the community in so many different ways, not just teaching dance, but she is a mentor to kids, to our kids. And that's what makes us a better society. When we pour into each other and we help each other, we bring each other along and we elevate each other. And that's what Dr. Hooker does. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
What else do you want us to know about this book? Where can we get it? Where can we find it?
I'm glad you asked. You can get this book on Amazon or Barnes and Noble, and they're putting it up on more platforms. I'll have to pull my phone out, but Amazon, you can definitely get it like in a couple of days. It's sold out a few times, and you can also get it on Barnes and Noble. And I'll give you the links for the other platforms as well. But most people just grab one of those or the other.
Beautiful. Are you speaking anywhere anytime soon? Can we
Yes.
go see you somewhere?
Yes, I'm speaking virtually on Ascend Your Path. She's a friend of mine and sister from the Forbes community, Diane Cunningham. She's out of Trinidad by way now of Delaware. And that information is on my page. It'll be next Saturday from 10 to 12. And I'll have the link and how people can get registered for that.
Okay, tell us your page, your Facebook page, and your information.
It's Carla Hooker. I have on a red dress, and on my banner, you'll see a whole bunch of little girls, ballerinas behind me with yellow and blue tutus on.
There you have it. And we're going to have all the links for this down in the episode notes of this show. Dr. Carla Hooker, thank you for coming back. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for inspiring the world, the girls you mentor, the women you mentor now.
Yes, and
all
young
the
men.
people and young men as well.
Right.
Definitely. So thank you for that. And thank you for your time here at OneMicNite, because we know time is the most valuable thing you can have. So thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone, please check out the book. She said the press release was yesterday. We'll find out all the information. You'll be able to get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and I'll have that information for you here. I will definitely get mine. I'm going to be first in line. Everyone, make sure you follow me, Marcos Luis, MARCOSLUIS. The show is OneMicNite, ONEMICNITE. 20 years of OneMicNite. Thank you guys all for being along on this journey with me. Big celebration coming up too, sometime, somewhere this year. We'll find out. But thank you for joining me. Share and comment below. Also, send in your questions for Ask the Doctor, because Shay Mark-Tull, the licensed clinical psychotherapist, will be back for OneMicNite Talk coming up, and we want to help you. We're helping the community. So thank you very much. We'll see you next time on OneMicNite.